Good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. How are you beautiful people doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. Oh my gosh, the year has come and gone. Where has it gone? Where has it gone? How are you beautiful people doing tonight? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Good evening. Good evening. Let us know where you're watching from. Let me just double check and make sure people are starting to watch somewhere. I don't know where everyone's watching from, but I will click in and see, on this cold Tuesday. How are you people doing? How is everybody doing? We're getting ready for our theme song and to get the show on the road. How's everybody doing? Hope everyone's doing well. Well, good evening, good evening, good evening. How was your Christmas? Hope you had a great Christmas. Man, today is the 30th. Tomorrow is the 31st. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for the new year, guys? Are you ready for the new year? Well, good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Mr. Bardui. If you're from the what? 767 Whitey Kubuli, tall is her body, the Commonwealth of Dominica, you call me Little Boy. But if you're from Point Michelle, aka La Pointe, you call me Luca Boy. Dominica made me, Boston raised me, now the South sustains me. How are you people doing tonight? Are you warm out there? It's cold, man. I just put up the garbage. It's freezing, 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 freezing. I hope everyone's doing good. I have a message here. Let me take a look and see what it's saying. No actions required. Everything about your accounting cleanup process will remain the same. It's just technicalities. Technicalities. How are you, Mr. Alvin Vasa and Miss Beaches Goodwill? Good evening. You guys are so loyal, man. You guys are, night after night, week after week. You guys are here to support, and I really, really, really enjoy you both. I am ready for 2026, man. I've set some very aggressive goals for myself. Not going to share with any of you. That's what I'm going to keep it just in a very, very tiny circle. And then, I need to accomplish them myself. So hope everyone's doing well. As we are queuing up our music for our theme song, how was your Christmas, man? Let me know. I know some of you traveled far and near, had a good time. Some of you must have gotten a tan. Laugh out loud. But I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to Tuesdays with Terrence. We have a great show planned for tonight. If you look at our banner, it says last episode of 2025. It's the end of the year, man. End of the year. I'm going to cue up the song and we're going to start up our show and move on from there. But I hope everyone's doing well. Everyone had a great Christmas, and you are ready for the new year. So I am almost ready here with our theme song. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not, but I'm almost ready to get it in. Here we go. So let me ask you guys a question, though, just before we click our theme song. Are you a resolution person? Have you made some resolutions for 2026? And if you have, and you want to share them, please do so. But just before we do that, let's get our theme song ready, right? So we can get it going. Welcome. Tuesdays with Terrence.
Dominica made me, that's where it all began. Island breeze, coconut trees, the heart of my plan. From the hills and the smiles to the songs of the sea, that island spirit molded the person I'd be. Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. On those snowy streets, learn to stand tall, navigating life, every rise, every fall. From the commons to the brownstones, I made my claim. With every lesson learned, I embraced my name. Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City lights shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. A licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. Now the South sustains me with its warm embrace, a community of strength and love in every space. From the bayous to the beaches, I found my place. In this journey of finance, I've learned to chase grace. Dominica made me, Boston raised me high. The South sustains my soul as I reach for the sky. With every sunrise, I'm thankful and free. A licensed financial pro, just being me. So here's to the roots that shaped who I am. From Dominica's beauty to Boston's Grand Slam. In the South I stand strong, with purpose and pride. Together with my journey, side by side.
Welcome to another episode of Tuesdays with Terrence. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing fabulous, fantabulous. I'm doing fantastic. Hope you are doing good. Hope you had a great weekend, a great week, all of that good stuff, right? I hope you did all of that stuff and you're doing well. All right. I hope you having a great week and you had an awesome Christmas. I got my sweats, man. It is cold out there. Cold out there. I just put out the garbage. You know, the temperature says that it's 31 degrees, but it feels like it's 26. And with the wind chill, it's a little cool. So it's the Tuesday before New Year's Eve. And a lot of people usually make New Year's resolutions. I used to make those. I don't make them anymore. I set goals though. I set goals for myself professionally, personally. Every year, people usually say, "Man, this is my year," or they start with all these cliches, and I don't think that people are bad, nor do I think people don't mean what they're saying. But all these cliches sometimes are just cliches. And someone told me today, they said one of the best things you can do is just do it. Like Nike, just do it. Don't mention it, just do it. So sometimes the goals that you've set for yourselves, whether it's personal or professional or even psychological, could affect you. So you have to make sure that you're doing it right and making sure that everything, like they say, everything is what it is, right? Everything is what it is. So it's really important that in 2026, you step in the new year with a positive attitude. I don't need to know, on a serious note, I don't need to know what your resolutions are. Some people go to the gym and they don't keep it. Some people change diet, they don't keep it. I don't really care about this. My prayer is that you're healthy, you're happy, and that you're progressive and you're knocking out everything that you set to do. I know in 2026, I can't believe it. Next year, March, will be 48 years that I came to this republic. And in 2028, it'll be 50 years, man. 5-0. Long, long time. Yet, however, I thinking about thinking of the years and the time, you know, I think one of the most important things is not how long you've been somewhere, but what have you done spiritually, psychologically, mentally, socially, financially, personally, all those different leads. So tonight, as we take a look at last episode for 2020, 2025, I'll recap some of the things that I talked about this year, to remind some of you. Uh, in January, we talked about, making sure that, you protect your children, making sure you have living benefits. In February, we talk about, legacies. In March, we talk about entrepreneurship and people joining and making new partners. In April, we started concentrating a little more on annuities. As part of your retirement planning. In May, we talked about, um, I think May, was it May? Was it May? Was it? No, it's not that month. In May, we talked about, where are you? And in June, we talked about, it was men. We talked about men's responsibilities. In July, it was summer months. We talked about, I started concentrating more on in-service rollovers. In August as well. In July, August, and September, I was concentrating a lot of in-service rollovers. In October, I was talking about, critical illness, because October is breast cancer awareness month. November, I went back to annuities, and in December, it was kind of eclectic. I was here, there, everywhere, moving to and fro. But now I can honestly say, in 2026, I'm going to concentrate on more in-service rollovers for people. Um, I have an appointment next week with a young lady who's turning 65, and see where she's at, and help her with some stuff. But I'm going to start concentrating a little bit more on the more mature ones. I have a client who's very young. He's about 31 years old, and I would love to get him on my show. I was talking with him on a case study today with one of my colleagues, and we were talking about how young people don't value planning, because sometimes when you're young, you can't see things. You think you don't think you're gonna die. You think you're never gonna get sick. And that's understandable. I think when you are younger, mortality is not something that you consider. But as you get older, you start, maybe you may have a family, you may purchase a home, you have more responsibilities, and you start thinking about what you could have done or what you could do. And I always tell people, it's never too late to do the things that you need to do or the things that you want to do. It's really, really important, though. It's really, really important that we realize that we have to plan. Um, Planning for a 22-year-old is different than between 18 and, I'd say, 40. No, 18 and 35 is a little different, you know, or 18 and 38, 39. From 40 to 55 is a little different. 55, 65 is a little different, and over 65 is always different. One of the most important things you have to start thinking about is protection. There are three pillars, in your financial planning, accumulation, you know, um, you got to think about the accumulation phase, where you are trying to accumulate, build up, you know, and you want to think about distribution, and also, preservation. You have to think about those things, because you have to remember, is everything that I want will be there when my time comes. There are some people who don't even know that your Social Security, it depends. Some of it will be taxed. People don't even understand how we've been talking about using non-traditional concepts to build, not to build, but to secure and to augment your retirement planning. Um, I was talking to someone the other day, and they were asking me when I'm going to do Actually, they're watching right now. What am I going to do more? You know, talk about the basics. I've been talking about that for a while. You know, I talked about the MIB. I talked about, like, for example, I was telling you guys earlier this month, December is kind of a good time, to always, do your insurance now. They will, you know, the companies want to jack up their books. I'm not saying they're lax, but I believe they might be a little more lax for that. Because come January, it's a new year. You know, I see people who ask me questions and want to do planning, but are hesitant and sometimes reluctant, and a lot of times just negligent. Um, and one of the things I want to do next year is not to bash people. People think I bash people all the time. Boom, 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 boom. Man, I'm just really, really blatantly um, frank. I can sugarcoat things that you want me to sugarcoat. I can do that. But sometimes you need to hear real. I, I was talking to someone today, and they told me, what they admire is that I keep it real. Keeping it real, and keeping it real for people is something that's really important, because I can be deceptive. I can, you know, tell you, well, man, you're doing all right, and lie to you. I can do those things, but what is that? Who's that's gonna benefit? It's not gonna benefit or accomplish anyone on this platform. Like today, I had a training, and we were talking about how people don't realize, even in their golden years, they can still augment what they're doing. Because if you retire at 62 or 65, you still have a life expectancy, you know probably 20 years or more, providing you don't have a lot of health challenges. So you can still start doing stuff. You got to do more, but you still got to do stuff, and you have to think about protection. Guarantees and protection is paramount as you get older, because some people may have mutual funds. They may be in the stock market. They may do crypto or Bitcoin. Some of the more riskier stuff like securities. But I'm not opposed to people doing that. I'm only concerned about the amount of money they never want to lose. And when you never want to lose a similar amount of money, I don't know what the future markets for next year is going to bring. But what if there's volatility? Um, are you positioned? Are you positioned with volatility? Some of the risks is uncertainty. I told you guys a couple of weeks ago, one of my clients got laid off, but I'm not worried for that client. That client was taking advice and planning. So proud of her. Some of us have, some of us make. Um, I know personally know people who made a lot more money than this individual. However, they did not plan like this individual. They did not. And what does that do? It actually affects you in the future. So now is the time when you're working to make sure you're putting stuff aside. So one of the things that you've heard me talk about a lot was, living benefits. Some people have health challenges, right? And they don't qualify. Um, it's so funny. The other day, not funny, hilarious, but funny, peculiar. Someone had reached out to me and asked me some information. I just passed them to something else, to a number, because um, I don't. What I'm not going to do, I'm not going to waste your time. You're definitely not going to waste mine. Um, even in 2026, I want to make sure that I am being a little more um, not determined, but intentional. Well, how do you become more intentional? You become more intentional by um, not allowing certain things to consume your time, or certain people to waste your time, or allowing people to you know get on your last nerve. Now, what I'm going to do is this. Uh, I'm going to be a little more intentional, but what I'm not going to do, I heard this comedian say, I'm gonna tell you, what I'm not gonna do is put up with foolishness. That definitely not that. So I don't know how to say that, hey, man, we need to do better. Yeah, I'm not gonna say that anymore. I'm gonna tell anybody they need to do better. People are grown. People are grown. People do what they want to do. People act how they want to act. Um, it's not like you're talking to a young person who have no life experience. Because some people are 22 think they're grown. Yeah, you may be a legal adult, but what life experience do you really have? Hmm? What life experience you really have at 22? You don't have much. Remember when I was 22? My gosh, I can remember the year too. I turned 22 October 1986. I remember like it was yesterday, you know. But but what I do know is that now I can't be making excuses and saying, "Man, I wish I knew." No, 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 no. Now I just got to be more intentional. Um, One of the things that I want to do next year is, if you're supporting me, you know, if you're supporting me as when I say supporting me, what I mean by that is if I can help you create some strategies for you and your family, you know, and then you, on the other hand, have some things that you want me to support, I will do that. You see, there's some people who've supported me over the years with not necessarily becoming my client, but sharing, liking stuff, and referrals. My business is predicated on referrals. A lot of my, like I said, I talked with someone today, and it was a referral. I'm at the stage in my business where I don't have to be like walking around asking, just cold calling people, because I'm not doing that. What I do is I'm going to spread and sow seeds. When you sow seeds, some fall on dry land, stony ground, fertile ground, like that parable in the Bible. And then the ones that fell on fertile ground, you cultivate it, because some are going to fall on dry land or in the rocks, and I'm not going to concentrate on those. It's like I was talking to a colleague today in Alabama, um, and we were just talking about what we do, and I said to them that, like, there's some um, of my business that I don't even want to prospect for, some business, and it's not individuals, it's just business, because it's not because it's not lucrative, but there's too much. One of one of the joys of what I do, my and I categorize clients A, B, C, D, E, and it doesn't mean E is a bad person. That's not what it means. It means uh, my A clients are the ones who actually take all my advice and follow my instructions. It doesn't matter how big or how small. My B clients, they've taken most of my advice. My C clients taken some advice. My D client took a little advice, and E clients is like the ones that's troublesome. But I'm all grateful for all of them. But what I'm not going to do is to babysit individuals. I don't have to be calling you every month because your draft didn't go through. Nah, this is really, really important, boy. This is more important than your phone bill. So I gotta make sure I'm creating strategies for people within their budgets, and when it's between their and stay there, because at our agency, at American Classic Agency, uh, our average premium is not like 50 or $25. It's like, I think, $2,500 to $3,000 average, on average, if we take all together, put in one pot, on average. So obviously some people are doing very well, but it doesn't matter how you're doing. It's making sure you're procuring what you're doing and making sure it works for you. Also, in 2026, in February 4th, will be 6 years of Tuesdays with Terrence, and I'm at a crossroads where um, I'm even contemplating. When you used to watch your sitcoms back in the day. You watch Good Times, The Jeffersons, you know, All in the Family, Facts of Life, The Cosby Show, all the different things that you watch, you know, Friends. I never watched that show, although one of my kids is named one after one of the characters. Um, it all comes to an end, because you have to grow. Now, next year, I'm going to even start probably concentrating on doing a lot more seminars for people who are pre-retirees. The seminars could be virtual or it could be in person. It really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's a church or if it's a community center or a library or a civic organization, a fraternity, a sorority, or a certain class of people. You know, uh, I don't care if you are engineers, doctors, CPAs, bankers. I don't care what you are, whatever class you fall in. Next year, I want to start concentrating on those because what I was looking at some of my goals. I wrote it down right here. I'm looking at it. Man, it's scary. And this is only for one carrier. It's not for all carriers, for one carrier. And I'm like, man. Now, they say, how do you eat an elephant? Does anybody know how you eat an elephant? If you know how you eat an elephant, put it in the chat. But they say there's a certain way to eat an elephant, right? So what I can't do is I can't look at the elephant. I can't look at the elephant because it's a huge animal. But how do you eat an elephant, they say? One bite at a time. So you got to break it down. You got to break down your goals from annual to semi-annual to quarterly to monthly to weekly to daily, and you have to stay on it. Stay on it. There is a client that I'm working with right now. Tomorrow is the anniversary, and I was trying to close them this year, but their spouse got ill. They were part of the furlough, government shutdown, and now they're back on track. And it was it's their anniversary, so we have to table it for a little bit till next week. Next week, I'm going to be gone home on them. Hey, listen, let's get this done for you, and this is why you need to do it. Let's get it done. So again, eating the elephant one bite at a time will allow me to reach the goals that I've set for myself, financially, professionally, psychologically, spiritually, and all that different things. And one of the things that I have to do is I made a post recently, and I said that in 2026, one of the things I'm going to be saying is no, and I recommend you do it too. No is a complete sentence. It's like halt. Like sometimes we have to make excuses. Like I remember this week I made an excuse, so I kind of told a little white lie, like they say. No, why you gotta make a little white lie? If somebody calls you and you can't talk, say I can't talk right now. You don't have to lie and say, well, no, I can't talk right now. If someone asks you, do you want to go to the game? No, I don't want to go. You don't have to say why. Now, if the person is really close to you, you may want to give a reason, but sometimes no is just no. In 2026, learn to say no on people asking you for certain things. Learn to say no. Now, there are some people who are special in our lives. They'll always be, and we'll always make provisions for them. But not everybody should have access to you all the time. There are some people, when I call them, like they're never available. And I know they ain't doing jack, but it's not maybe because they see it's me and they're like, I'm not going to talk to him. I'll talk to him tomorrow or next week or later today. You don't have to, just because someone call you have to pick up the phone. Like I'm a huge texter. So some people, if they text me, I respond right away. But if I didn't respond right away, maybe I didn't see it, or maybe I don't want to respond to it right away. Because if I do, you may not like my answer. My answer may be misconstrued as being harsh. It's not sensitive, you know. So this is some of the things we have to learn to start doing. So don't be scared to say no in 2026. No is a complete sentence, and you have to learn how to say no and don't feel guilty. Don't feel guilty. So if I say to you, hey Alvin, I need you to do a da 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 da, and you can't do it, say no, I can't. You don't have to give a reason. And I don't know who has the audacity or the what you would call it. I don't want to say the word to even ask you why, especially an acquaintance that you don't really have a close relationship with. Like some people like to ask me certain questions, you know, like they would ask me, like if I go to church, sometimes some people say, "Oh, where's Sandy?" I'm like, well, "She's not here today." I mean, like because I don't ask people when I go to church if I don't see a kid or a husband or a wife. If I because most people I have their number, so if I need to find out what's going on, I can reach out to you and let you know I've missed you, but I don't need to know. So it's the same thing when people are asking you next year. You got to say no or um, I can't. No, thank you, and just keep it moving. Keep it moving. And don't feel guilty. Why do we feel guilty? Do you know what I was told years ago? It's better to tell someone no and then come back and tell them yes than to tell them yes and then you don't keep that. It's better to tell someone no and then come back and say yes than to actually tell someone yes and then don't keep your commitment. It means you're not credible, it means your integrity is shoddy, your morals, your character. But if you tell someone, nah, I can't do it, man, but next week you call them or next month, especially if it's something that they really need to help you, say, you know what, John, I told you no. I know I told you no that I could not do this, but I want to make I want to amend that. I can help you if the offer is still there for me to help you. So who's gonna say no to that? Only a fool. Only a fool. So I don't want in 2026 for me to be telling people yes and then trying to like me for example, right? Most people don't know that about me. I'm not someone you want to invite to things like dinner, parties, and I really, I mean, I'll go. I mean, some family members or certain close friends, they invite me to something, I'm going to go. Like if you're a dear friend of mine and your kid's graduating, I'll go. Or if you know, but I don't like to, things. It's funny things I used to do when I was younger, right? I have to be careful now that I don't ostracize people because they do it. I'll give you some examples. Those of you who don't know this, but I used to be a party head. I used to love to, I didn't drink, I didn't do drugs, but I love to party. Now, you have to do moderation in everything, right? You got to have moderation in everything. So now partying is not my thing. I don't do it like if a family member is having something or a client or somebody invite me, you know, I might come to it, but I have to stop saying there's something I always keep saying. Oh, people like to party. Because when I was doing it, you couldn't stop me. Nobody could stop me. Man, I would I would lie to you to if I had something to do with you, I'd lie to you for me to go party. So now that I don't do that, I have to make sure that I'm not like if things that I've overcome that are no longer vices to me. I have to make sure, because we all are on a different learning trajectory. We all are not on the same trajectory of what we do. So it's important that you don't ostracize people. One of the things, I'm very complimentary. Um, for those of you who are my Facebook friends, if you post stuff and I see it come through, I will like it. If I'm not liking some of your stuff because I don't see it, I mean, I'm not gonna, like, if your birthday is up and it comes on Facebook and it says your birthday, even if you're a jerk, I'm gonna say happy birthday. I do. If you post something about your kid as an accomplishment, or your spouse, or your sibling, or your brother, or your church, I'm like, congratulations. I'm very supportive that way. And that doesn't cost you anything. One of the things I can't stand is when people will, like, I'll post something and someone will come and ask me a question about the post. And you saw the post. Like, if I make a post, I say something like, man, it was snowing today. Um, then you come in my DMs or in my regular text and said, is it snowing where you at? I just posted that it's snowing. Don't do that, because then you're being sneaky. You know. So next year, I want to make sure I'm more direct. Um, One thing that I don't subscribe to is hypocrisy, uh, embellishment. I don't embellish, you know, because if you post something I don't like, I ain't gonna come there and blast you. Like, if you're my friend, if we're really close, I might tease you and go back and forth. Like, I have this one friend on social media who would make posts, and I'll come in with his wise comments, and we go back and forth, and it's fun, that. But especially for people I don't really know, because I have a lot of Facebook friends I don't personally know. There's people watching right now of Tuesdays with Terrence I don't personally know. They may be watching on Instagram. They may be watching on Facebook, or later they watch it. Like, I have some people watch my program after on YouTube, or they may watch it on LinkedIn or X or somewhere, or my business page or something. But guess what? I don't really know the individual. You know what I mean? So one of the things I need to do is to be more um, direct, because I'm very direct. For those of you who know me, be more determined, but also make sure that I don't try to give you a 649. And if I don't know you personally, but there's some people on social media, I should say, um, I feel like I know them. I feel like I know them. I've never met them, never seen them, but we have great relationships. We talk, we actually communicate like we know each other. And, I value those. But I have to remind myself sometimes I don't know. I was talking to someone today. I made a post on social media, and the person reached out to me in my DM. But I know this person. I haven't seen this person since 2012, I think. I haven't seen this individual since 2012 or 11, somewhere around there. Um, 22 is 10. I haven't seen them in almost 13 years, over 13 years. But we were talking today, and we were talking about something that happened back in 2012. And it was so good. And every time I pass through the area where that person lives, I always tell them I'm going to reach out to them and have lunch or dinner when I'm working or passing through. And they live in a different state, but I never really do. But every time we talk on social media, we kind of, talk about we should do that. And I want to. And there's some people who are on social media who that I see when I'm in my travels. I try to represent, which is fun. And there's some people that I don't want to see. I mean, we cool and everything, but if I don't see you, it's okay. So in 2026, I have to be more intentional. I have to be more direct. and I have to be more, like I'm one of the realest person that you've ever met. Ask people who know me, they'll tell you, they'll say, "Yup, this guy is crazy." You know, he's crazy, but I am. It is. It is what it is. You know, it is what it is. Um, I how would I say it in a nicer way? I don't know. How would I say it? I'm just one of these dudes that, you know, I'm gonna just let you have it. I'm gonna just say it to you, and I think you should say it to me too. And I'm not gonna look at you differently. I'm not gonna look at you. If you tell me something that I'm doing, I'm not gonna look at you like you're bad or anything like that. I'm not gonna do that. I won't. I won't. But sometimes it happens. It happens. So how do I change that? I change that by making sure I don't compromise my values. In 2026, I want to be more I don't want to say touchy feely, but be more, how would I say it? Look looking from your point of view. Because I rarely do that. I rarely do that. And the reason why I rarely do that is because I know, I know that for me, especially something that I'm really, really good at or that I know, I'm like, you know what, man? I'm good at this stuff. I'm not going to look at it from your point of view. But you can't do that. You can't. You can't do that. You have to make sure that you look at it from the other person's point of view as well. Make sure you do that. I need to start doing that more. Then I need to um, stop having people waste my time. What do you mean by that? I'm trying to share this as well with somebody as I'm talking. How do I do that? The way I do that is by um, uh, have you ever allowed someone to waste your time and then you're like, what did I just do? Right? It's important that you control that. It's important that you control that. And the way that you control that is by making sure you're fair and making sure that you say, that's enough. You know, I'm not going to spend an hour on the phone with you about foolishness. I'm not going to do that. I spend an hour on the phone with you talking about why you need income protection, debt elimination, and legacy creation. I'll do that. I'll do that. But I'm not doing the other foolishness. I'm not doing that. I won't. I won't do that. So, what I'm trying to do this year is not just be more direct, be more honest, be more, because I'm honest now in terms of what I got to tell you. And, but the big part for me in 2026 is saying no. You know, I, right now I'm working on with a case for a client, a huge, huge case, by the way. And um, I have to be, I have to learn to dumb things down. I stop using all this jargon that people don't even understand. All this jargon that I'm using, I need to stop using it. Everybody don't understand my jargon. Everybody don't. Everybody don't. I have to stop it. Everybody don't understand my jargon. I have to stop it. And how do I do that? Making sure I kiss it. You know what kiss it means? Keep it simple, salesperson. Keep it simple, stupid. When you kiss something, you're making it very easy for the individuals to understand. That's what I got to do more of in 2026. You know, um, In my business, there's a lot of disclosures. I always make sure I get the disclosures out because you get a contract. Because what we do, all the products that we promote, all the programs, they're contracts. They're legally binding. So some of the stuff that you see in them, it's stuff that people are aware of, some people are not aware of, but you gotta, you gotta make sure it's disclosed. So it's incumbent on me to make sure like I was talking to someone the other day and I was telling them some stuff and they trust me explicitly, but even if they trust me explicitly, I still have to be more thorough and explain to them why they should. I have to. I have to. And why? Because disclosure is key. Disclosure is key. Now let me ask you all a question. You know, as you embark on 2026, is there anything you want to leave behind? Is there anything you want to leave behind? And if you're not sure, you know, you got to say to yourself, what's preventing you from leaving it behind? What's preventing you from leaving it behind? Is it that you're scared to? You're not sure you want to? You're having difficulties? There must be something that's you know that you want to leave behind, but you're scared. You don't have to share it, but find ways to release that, man. Find ways to release that. Find ways to release that so you can share it. Don't keep it. Don't let it. Don't let it choke you. 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 Don't. In 2026, man, be more intentional, more direct. Be more you. Take care of you. Stop taking care of the world. There's there's someone's watching right now. I won't call their name, but they always want to take care of the world. Take care of you. Make yourself a priority. Like on the airplane, when they tell you put on your mask first, secure that, then do your kids or whomever else you got to help. Secure yourself. Secure yourself first. And I know that some people have a difficulties doing that because they're so given. Nothing is wrong with giving, but you know what? You can't just be giving, and not taking care of you. Reward yourself sometimes. Reward yourself sometimes. How do you do that? You reward yourself sometimes by giving yourself little gifts. If you like massages, you know, if you did something good or something great happened to you, reward yourself. A massage, I don't know, take a trip, buy yourself a gift. Don't be always thinking about everybody and their mama. Stop it. Mm-mm. You can't be taking care of everybody and their mama. Take care of you. And then after you take care of you, you can take care of whoever else you want to and their mama. But don't let that be your first, I got to take care of Mr. Jones. I got to take care of Mrs. Jones. I got to take care of this person and that person. Take care of you. Make sure that you're good. Make sure you're good. Make sure you're good. And when you're good, then you can worry about everybody else. Be like the government. All of you watching got a job, right? They don't trust you to pay them their taxes. They take it first. Out of your paycheck. The only time you don't take it out of your paycheck is when you're self-employed. And if you don't pay them, they're going to get you. So all of you with jobs, why don't the government wait for you to do it? You know why they don't? They don't trust you. They don't trust you to do it. So you need to do the same thing. Take care of yourself first. And, you know, you don't trust yourself. You know what? I got to pay myself. When you pay yourself, then you can pay everybody else. Sometimes we want to save the world and we're dying and drowning. We do. We want to save the world, but we're dying and drowning. Why? Why do we want to do that? You know, take care of you, supple. Take care of you and make sure that in 2026, you're walking with purpose, resolve, determination, confidence, and don't let anybody misconstrue your confidence for cockiness. No, 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 no. Walk confidently. Walk with your head up, your shoulders straight. Look people in the eye. If you got to shake their hand, shake their hand. Look them in. Don't be walking around like you're some kind of punk or some kind of nah. Make sure you handle what you got to handle. Make sure you do it. Make sure you do it. You can. I know you can. In 2024, 2026, I should say 2024. In 2026, you know, track your successes. And I think you should track it monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, and annually. You don't have to share it with everybody. Take yourself on a date. Has anyone done that? When I was younger in Boston, I will never forget, for my birthday every year, single or married, my birthday is my day. It ain't for everybody, it's for me. I used to rent a luxury car, go get a haircut, a manicure. I had never gotten pedicures then. I've only had about, in a salon, 2 pedicures in my life. You know, 2. One in Boston with my son and one in Atlanta with my son. Only twice. My youngest son and my oldest son. It was around their birthdays, and we did pedicures. You know, and it was fun sitting there with my sons getting pedicures, talking. And I used to be fun. I'll never remember my oldest son. He'll be 37 next week. You know, one year we rented a beautiful Jaguar car. I think he was probably like maybe 10 years old, 10 years or something like that. And we went to the Basketball Hall of Fame in Springfield, Massachusetts. Then our church was having a retreat. We didn't go, but we drove up to the retreat, saw people, talked with them, then we bounced. We had fun. Do those kind of things for yourself. You know, take yourself on a date. Some people, they always want to go to dinner with somebody. Man, I'm a loner. For someone to talk a lot and always, I don't like to, don't invite me to stuff. Some people, they always want to be invited to someplace. And nothing is wrong with that. I love, man, when I'm on business trips by myself, I'm happy. Why? I get to be me. You know, I'm not on no one's schedule, no one's terms. I love my self time, my alone time. In 2026, make sure you purposely have alone. And I don't mean alone time sleeping. That's not what I mean. Do something alone. Whatever that something is. I can't tell you what it is. Do something alone. I'm not telling you be antisocial and don't associate with people. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying do something, you know, do something that, you know, by yourself, whatever that something is. Whatever that something is. Do it by yourself. Do it by yourself. Whatever that something is, do it by yourself. So that way you'll be able to say, hey, I did X or Y or Z, you know, and I'm happy, whatever, whatever. Do it by yourself, man. Do it by yourself and then tell me about it. So, this is the 30th of December 2025. It's almost 2026. I'm not going to sit here and beat people and tell them they got to do this and they got to do that. I'm not going to do that. No way, Jose. I'm not going to do that. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I am not going to do that. What I'm going to do is say it's 2026. I'm going to be determined. I'm going to be more confident. I'm going to say no. I'm going to take care of me and then everybody else afterwards. Make that your mantra. Make that your calling card. Make that your calling card. And when you do that, you will be able to live a more productive life. And as you have your successes, you don't have to share it with everybody. You don't have to. You don't have to share with everybody. But because not everybody who clapping for you is on your side. Remember that. Not everybody. Not everybody. Mm-mm. Not everybody. Uh-uh. Like I say in Dominica, pas tout monde. Not everybody. So don't share everything with everybody in 2026. Be confident, be strong, be personable, learn to say no and stick to it. But if you change your mind, it's okay. You're human. Don't be making promises you can't keep. And don't let anyone gaslight you or don't let anyone make you feel guilty for your convictions. So things that you choose that you're not going to do. Don't let anyone do that. So as we close the year, I want to wish everyone a happy new year. For those of you who are my clients, thank you for your business. For those of you who are not my clients, what are you waiting for? For those of you who need my help, you know how to get in touch with me because you get in touch with me for everything else. And for those of you who are hating, God bless you. I got number love for you. Number love. So tonight, as we close,
Battery medium. Connected to virus alerts camera.
As we close, I just want you to know in 2026, I'll be different for me. And, for Tuesdays with Terrence, 2026 might be our last year of Tuesdays with Terrence. I don't know. I got to pray about it, see what the good Lord says. But I've set some very aggressive goals for myself for next year. And I'm going to crush them. I'm only sharing it with a certain amount of people I know who have my best interests at heart, and I will go from there. So in 2026, be determined, be intentional, love yourself, treat yourself, learn to say no, be confident, and don't let anyone steal your joy. The show is called Tuesdays with Terrence. My name is H. Terrence Bardui. Some people call me H. Some people call me Havis. Some people call me Terrence. Some people call me Little Boy. If you're from the 767 YT Kubuli Tall body, you call me Little Boy from La Pointe, St. Luke's Parish. Dominica made me. Boston raised me. Now the South sustains me. Good night, everybody. Hasta la vista. Hasta la vista, babies. You see, now it won't even play. Isn't that funny? It always does that. Every time I try to play it at the end, it doesn't want to play because he's got to act up. He don't want to play, but it's okay. It's okay. I can start singing the song for you guys.
Virus alerts camera.
You ever start singing it? Dominica made me. That's where it all began. Island breeze, coconut trees, the heart of my plan. From the hills and the smiles to the songs of the seas, That island spirit molded the person I be. Ah, Boston raised me with its hustle and grind. City light shining, dreams intertwined. In the heart of this town, I found my way. Uh, uh, a licensed financial pro, ready for the fray. Good night, everybody. God bless you. Hasta la vista. Happy New Year. Until next year, make sure you follow my instructions. Do what I ask you to do. Hasta la vista, babies. Peace.